Welcome back everyone to another NRG on the Amstrad CPC, and here is the classic arcade conversion of Sega's Golden Axe, which originally came out in 1989, which I played heavily back in the arcades of the day, and I adored this game in the arcades. And of course it had a much fabled excellent Mega Drive conversion, but it was also converted to the three main 8-bits, the Amstrad, the Spectrum, and of course the Commodore 64. And here is the Amstrad version with some absolutely wonderful music, some of the best music I think. I really do think this music is really good. Lovely intro. The way the intro is transferred from the arcade is really done really well. It is a multi-load unfortunately, but I think the presentation is pretty much spot on and great to see the Amstrad doing something like this. The gameplay is not as good as the presentation or the graphics, but we'll get into that later on. It's worth it for this music alone. Published by Virgin and developed by Probe. So you can pick all the three characters you want, select your keys, so select your keys here. Keys for magic. It will be the space. Okay, right, sorry. So it'd be Terrace Flare, Gillis Thunderhead, or Axe Battler. And I think we're going to be Terrace Flare. I think we're going to go for that. Now, the way the skeleton is reproduced, obviously you don't get the animation like you did on the arcade, but you've got the three character to select from. I believe you've got two-player mode as well. So yeah, you've got to select the keys again, unfortunately, for each character, if you are going to go two-player. So you select the characters before you enter the game. Once you're happy with all that, you load the first level, and off you go to beat Death Adder, the nasty big bastard with the big axe, which is kind of golden. The game area is a little bit on the small side, but it's fine. It's manageable. We're not talking the tiny size of something like Shadow Warriors, for instance. And the graphics are extremely colourful. They're really well drawn. They don't move that well to a degree, but you've got the really nice atmospheric HUD at the bottom. Everything's nice and clear. You can see what's going on. Your moves, you've got your move sets as well. They're all there. Performing them is a bit that's exactly how you would describe it. A lot of people either really like this version of the game or really dislike this version of the game. What you can't take away is the quality of the presentation, the graphics, and of course the sound, but unfortunately the gameplay does let it down. You can get used to it eventually. When I had it back years ago, I eventually got used to the control system. I'm still struggling with it nowadays, to be fair. I never used to play as Tyrus, to be honest. I always used to play as Gillis because it's all the easiest to play as Gillis. Look, you've even got the little go thing in the corner. That's really nicely done. Flying kick is a really useful move in this. And there's the little goblins. You collect your magic potion pots. So we've got some nice scrolling here. It's a little bit teary at the sides, but never mind, it's still fine. And this bit is a bit awkward. There are parts of this version of the game where you can actually get stuck, which is annoying. But there we go. Here we are on the back of one of these dragon things, and I've completely forgotten its name. I used to know the name of these things, but I've completely forgotten. This is the one that's taken from on the cover of Altered Beast. This little sort of like a cross between an eagle and a lizard kind of thing. I always forget the names. Why have cockatrice? Is it a cockatrice? I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. I used to know this. Come on, I'm having trouble jumping it. This is where the problems with the controls start happening. There are problems where you can't. It's difficult to jump in certain areas. Difficult to progress in certain areas as well. Collision detection can become a little bit off here and there, with characters coming off screen where they don't go back on screen. You can't hit them. Where they're on a different plane and you can't hit them. I think this has happened right here. Yeah, it looks like I can't see. Look, I'm having trouble here hitting this little goblin thing because he's on this different plane and I can't move up to that little plane up the top there. So it really could have done with a little bit more testing because of these gameplay bugs. Like I say, it is manageable eventually, but it does get annoying. And can we get through this? I'm going to have to probably use magic here and waste a magic to sort of just move on, because I can't be able to seem to hit this guy. Come on. So I'm trying to move on to the extra plane, but I can't do it. This is where the this is where things fall down for it. Its collision detection is off. There are enemies that do this, come on different sort of planes where you can't actually hit them, which becomes impossible sometimes. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. The crowd, so I'm going to have to use a magic there to sort of get out of this. Shame, have to waste a magic to get out of that, but we can move on now. That does happen. Lovely little run in there. It was good. Plenty of sprites on screen at any given time. I think you can get. I think there's 5. You can get like 5 sprites on screen at any one time, which is quite impressive. You can get hemmed in a lot when you like mistime a slash, because the timing can vary a lot for an attack. You can get hemmed in by the enemies. They will grab you and pincer you, and you won't be able to get out, and you'll be dead. It's as simple as that. You just cannot get out of that position. That was nice. That was a level hit. I mean, look at the big sprites there for the big hammer guys. Really well drawn. A little bit of magic there. So all the magic spells are pretty much the same as well. They don't vary in style and appearance like they do on the arcade and the Mega Drive. So no matter how many potions you have, magic potions you have, they all look exactly the same. All the spells, all fire spells for Tyrus, and all lightning spells for the dwarf, and earth spells for the warrior. But you can do the high slash like that. There we go. I've got that one. That's good. You can see when you're slashing normally, you get into the head knock as well. You can do that. You can do the reverse slash with all 3 characters. I think you do that by holding diagonal down, but doesn't. Again, it's not a move that seems to come out a lot. There we go. A little bit of dodgy collision detection there. I was pretty much a good centimetre away from that dude. And the same happens in reverse, of course. They will hit you from massive amount of distance. They'll be like a centimetre away and they'll manage to hit you, which is really annoying. There's a bit of a slash there. Oh, that was good. There we go. So you do have to get used to the controls. There's plenty of continues with this though. 9 levels in total. It does have an ending as well and an intro, which is good. So it's a completely formed game, which is great. There we go. That's better. A little kick in the nads. Little run there. You can run by double tapping forward. But this guy's proving... Oh, smack with the sledgehammer. Ouch. Right, we're going to try and flying kick him. Oh, I see. This is where that would have normally happened. This is where the sort of like the control system lets you down as well. 70% of the time, I like to say, the move will come out that you tried to perform about 70% of the time. And he's gone. There he goes. So that's level 1 done. And I've already lost the credit, which is a shame, which is a life. But there we go. But you've even got the little fire in the middle there. You can collect your food, collect the potions from the goblins again, and carry on. And so, like I say, the presentation and the way the game is laid out is really, really well done. It's just a shame they need to tinker with the gameplay a little bit to make things a lot tighter, a lot more manageable, and certainly a lot more consistent as well. It can get very frustrating at certain points when you're hemmed in. Look, you've even got the map with the story being told. It's a very frustrating game because it has this level of this level of the way it's articulated across, the way it's been done, the way it's been programmed graphically, and incorporating so many parts of the arcade. It's so well done, but just the gameplay, it's so frustrating because you just needed that little quite tightening up of the gameplay. The controls need to be better and more responsive and tighter. The collision detection certainly needs to be better. I suppose the sprite movement could be smoother as well. I mean, we've seen much more smoother sprite movement when you look at games like Renegade and stuff. So there isn't really no excuse for it. Mind you, saying that, there is a lot more level of graphical prowess going on in this, so maybe you'd have to sacrifice some of the graphics for that. Also, of course, there's no soundtrack in-game, unfortunately. You have little sound effects, little knocks and pops and all the usual stuff that you get in beat-em-ups on the Amstrad. So yes, I'm going to get through these guys with the big spiky maces, or try to at least, and I'll bid you a farewell. That is Golden Axe on the Amstrad CPC. It's one of those conversions which nearly gets it absolutely brilliantly. Nearly gets it, but its gameplay lets it down to give it about a 7 out of 10. Such a shame, because it could have been absolutely one of the most stonking arcade conversions on the system. But it's worth it, hey, for that music alone, because it's wonderful. Thanks for watching. Novabug, out.